Hey guys, Tyler here from GarageWarrior.com, and this is the Garage Warrior Podcast, where we show you how to get stronger, live longer, look good naked, and live the life of your dreams. I got a fun show for you today. I'm going to be talking for the next 30 minutes about my personal story on how I became the Garage Warrior and how I decided to start sharing this information with the world. But before I do that, I want to tell you guys a couple people we're going to have on the show in the next few months. Next week, we got Jim Bathurst from BeastSkills.com. If you guys have never seen Jim's website, absolutely go over there and check it out. Jim's got some awesome tutorials that teach you how to do one-arm chin-ups and front levers and all kinds of challenging handstand work. And beyond that, he's also really good at weight training, and he's an awesome guy. So I can't wait to have Jim on the show. A week after that, on the 26th, I got my man Travis Stetzel on the show from TravisStetzel.com and the Forge Athlete Gym. Travis is one of the most fit and conditioned guys I have ever met, and you guys are going to learn some awesome gems from Travis when we have him on the show as well. So, today I want to talk with you guys about a few different things. First, I want to start out by talking with you about my personal history, and then we're going to go on to why I really dig movement progression so much and why you should too. And then also we're going to finish up with the 11 commandments of the Garage Warrior. I want to kind of tell you guys all about how I view the world in terms of being a Garage Warrior. So I want to start out first by just kind of sharing with you my personal story, because while people think that, I may have been fit my whole life, the sad truth is I totally have not. In fact, for most of my life, I was actually overweight. I grew up in a household where my parents considered diet soda was a health food. And so as you can see, by eating that kind of stuff all the time and treating my body poorly and just watching TV and eating junk food, over the years I got really, really unhealthy. So just to start this out, I wanted to share with you guys how people can change. People can change who they were. People can change who they want to become. And they can get anywhere they want to go as long as they put themselves into it and they really do the work that it takes. So just let me impart that on you from the start of this podcast. But I was, between 5 and about 16, 18 years old, I was really unhealthy. I mean, I was going to bed at night, having night sweats, night tremors, heart palpitations. I'll go deeper in just bloody stools, things like that. My body was not in very good shape. And it wasn't until I started hanging out with a good friend of mine named Blake, who is now a U.S. Navy SEAL, and we decided to start working out together. And so he was great to work out with. As you can imagine, being a SEAL, he's just tough as nails dude, just totally mental, but a great guy to work out with. And so we would do these crazy workouts in my backyard because I convinced my dad to get, just a basic barbell set and a bench. So we would do bench presses and we would do curls. That was the culmination of our program way back then. But it was a good introduction into exercise just because we would go out there, and one of the most important things we did every day was just go have some fun. And so that was extremely, extremely important in my training and in kind of shaping the way I do things. It's just having fun when I exercise. After I was training with Blake for a while, I decided I wanted to get big and jacked. Like most of you guys out there, I'm sure you've had this kind of same experience where you absolutely wanted to go out there and get big and jacked like Arnold, So I bought the Encyclopedia of Modern Bodybuilding, and I opened up the pages, and that page, if you guys ever seen that book, it's like 2 inches thick, right? And it's got every single exercise in the world for bodybuilding exercises and routines and stuff. And of course, being the ignorant young kid that I was, I opened up the book and I looked through the beginner routine and said, that's just too dang easy. Looked through the intermediate and said, that just looks too dang easy too. Went over to the advanced routine and was like, okay, now you're talking. And then flipped the page to the competition routine and was like, all right, that's how I'm going to get jacked. And of course, I was madly mistaken, because the book was written that way for a reason. He wanted you to build a foundation of strength and muscle before you obviously did the competition routine. But I jumped in 2 legs first, started waking up at 5 a.m. and riding my bike down the street to the 24-hour fitness to do my AM routine before I came back after school later on in the evening to do my PM routine. Well, that only lasted for about 9 or 10 days before I got so dang sick I couldn't even move. So that was my first experience with not recovering enough and kind of overtraining myself. And so from there I thought to myself, okay, maybe this is a little crazy with the competition routine. And I kept digging into kind of powerlifting and bodybuilding and kind of hybrided those together. So I started doing some power bodybuilding, and that's when I started training with my good friend Logan Christopher. So if you guys know Logan, he was on the last podcast. He's got a website called legendarystrength.com. And we started training together at a real young age, like 16 years old. And, I was still a chubby kid at that time. And it was kind of ironic because Logan was the skinny kid and I was the chubby kid. So it must have been a funny match in the gym, the fat kid spotting the skinny kid on the bench press. But basically, we started working out together, doing a power bodybuilding routine. We'd go to the gym maybe 3-4 days a week, and we'd lift heavy and high volume, and then we'd go into the car and drink a protein shake halfway through, and then go back into the gym and lift some more. And I remember that was, everybody gets in this supplement times where they have these supplements and they're like, oh, this is what I need to get buff and jacked. And I remember Logan saying to me one day, man, it sure does cost a lot of money to get big, because we were both spending $200-$300 a month on, Cell Tech and Nitro Tech and all that stuff that the marketing really gets you at. And of course, it never really got us anywhere. So, supplements to me are really just that. They're a supplement to a good lifestyle, good eating habits, good training as well. So after the power bodybuilding was getting stronger, I was about 17 years old, and this was what really kind of started leading me down this path. I was riding my bike home from work one day as a car kind of came out, and it struck me from the side. So I got hit by a car while I was riding a bicycle. And basically, long story short, what ended up happening was the bumper kind of contacted my knee, and then I got knocked over and fell and got all twisted up in the bike and ended up breaking the bottom of my femur, dislocating my kneecap, and tearing my meniscus. So I had to go in for surgery to fix the cartilage damage. And that was a real hard time, because you go from being able to do anything you want, you're young, you have no aches and pains, and then all of a sudden everything changes. You can't even walk for, I think I was in a wheelchair for 12 to 16 weeks. And so, I'm a guy who had big legs. I've always been able to leg press and squat a lot. And, after that, my left leg that got damaged shrunk by like 5 inches. And so that was just really, really tough time. But on the same note, I feel like if you're smart, one of my life philosophies is to always look for the good in things, always find the good in things, and always find the reason. And that was what started it, was because after that time, I pretty much discovered things like kettlebells and bodyweight training, and me and Logan still trained together, but we changed everything up. We found Matt Fury, we found Pavel Tsatsouline, and we started doing that kind of training, and just started really doing some serious kind of functional stuff. And that was way back in like 2003, I think it was. So it's been about a decade since I started training with kettlebells and with body weight and grip strength stuff and strongman stuff. So that's kind of where that rabbit hole led down. And so from there, once I started down that train, went out to Minnesota, trained with Pavel, got my RKC. That was back in 2005. Between 2005 and 2010, went back and helped out with the RKC as an assistant instructor, I think 4 times, which is always fun because it was great to learn more from when you're helping out than when you're just getting your butt kicked all day. For any of you who have been through the RKC, you know what I'm talking about. And then I also got a CrossFit certification. That was a fun certification to go to. Also went and worked with Grandmaster Strongman Dennis Rogers. And if you guys don't know Dennis is pound for pound one of the world's strongest men. He does stuff like roll up frying pans and twist horseshoes. But meeting him in person really humbles you because you realize how much stronger he is than you. I'll shoot a little quick story about Dennis. I got the pleasure to arm wrestle Dennis one time, and I have my right arm up on the table, and he has his right arm up on the table, and he's like 52 years old, about 160 pounds, and I'm like maybe 23 or 4 years old. And I'm like right around 200 pounds. And Dennis goes, get tight, pull, get tight, pull. And so I'm pulling on his arm. And he goes, are you ready? I said, yeah. He goes, go ahead. I said, I'm pulling as hard as I can. He goes, oh, okay, all right. Go ahead and put your other hand up there then. So I put my left hand up there. So now it's me, 40 pounds heavier, 30 years younger, and I got both hands on Dennis's one arm in the arm wrestling table. And he goes, pull, pull, pull. Get tight, get tight, get tight. And so I pulled as hard as I could. He goes, are you ready? And I said, oh, no, I knew what was going to happen. And he just went, and my whole body flipped over. I basically pivoted on my elbow, and my hand smacked the table, and I just went chest first down on the table. So anyways, meeting somebody like Dennis, who is really, really, really like world-class strength, is very humbling because it tells you just how much you have to work with. And that was kind of what kind of spurred one of those foundations of the 11 commandments, and we'll talk about those here in a sec.